Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube class. So today we're going to be talking about reading matching of headings. How do you solve this question type? Okay. You can drop your questions and your comments in the comments box. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Okay, so today I said we're going to be talking about how to effectively solve the matching of heading question type in reading. Okay, now they have gotten you a lot. Okay, so one of the questions is, do I tackle this question type first or do I do other ones first? Okay, my candid advice for people is, please do this first. I'll give you reasons why you should attempt this question type first. Okay, the first reason is that as you're going through the passages, as you're attempting to look for headings, you are reading all the passages. Okay, so when you read all the passages, when you're doing the other ones, it will be less easier for you because you already know where to spot the answers. You already know, you already have a keyword and you already know where you should be looking for the answer. Okay, so but when you do other ones and you're coming back to, if you're just reading the passages twice, which will save, which might not help you because you're not saving time for yourself, you're just consuming time. Okay, so please, I would advise you to please do this first because answers do not come in order. Okay, unlike the true, false, or not given, whereby when you find the answer to number 2, then number 1, number 3 should follow. This one is different because the answers do not come in that order. You find out that number 1 answer, let me say number 11 heading might be paragraph D. Okay, while number 13 heading can be paragraph A. So it doesn't come in order. So do not think that because number 11 heading is paragraph D, then number 12 heading should be paragraph E. It doesn't come in that way. So they've kind of mixed everything up. Okay, now you need to understand the passage. Okay, now there are some question types that you can get by skimming. Okay, what do I mean by skimming? Skimming is just you're rushing and you are trying to look for answers because you already know a keyword of something and you're trying to look for answers. That is skimming. When you're skimming, you're not there to understand. You're not understanding it. You're just looking for answers because you already have your keyword at hand. So you're just looking for answers. So, but this one, you don't have to use skimming to get it because you have to understand it. You're reading to understand. So if you're skimming, you might miss the words that should help you, that should give you a clue to what the answer is. So you don't have to skim. You don't have to skim. Just read to understand. Okay? Read the first 2 sentences and the last 2 sentences. Okay? I'll give you a reason to that. This is because the first 2 sentences is just like an introductory sentence. They are just introducing the paragraph. So as you read it, you'll be able to have a clue of what this paragraph is saying. If you don't have a clue by reading the first 2 sentences, the last 2 sentences are the conclusion. They conclude a paragraph. Okay, so when you read the last 2 sentences, you should be able to understand, oh, this is what they talked about in this paragraph. When you read the first 2 sentences, you should have a clue of what they are about to talk about because it's just an opening speech, just opening the paragraph for you. That is what is in the first 2 sentences. So how I do this is I read my first 2 sentences. If I still don't get the answer, I read my last 2 sentences. I should be able to find a clue. Read the headings. Read the headings. Okay, so this is what I do when I see this question type. This is what I do. I just go over the headings and I read through all the headings. I read through all the headings. I just know, I have a rough idea of what each heading is talking about. Then I read the paragraph. And if I read the paragraph, I should be able to know, yes, oh, I already read about something like this in this particular heading. But if I don't have any idea of what the heading could be, I might not get it with just reading the paragraph. If I go ahead to just read the paragraph first, you'll be confused because you still don't know. You still have to come and start looking at the headings to know which heading fits that paragraph. But it's always easier when I look at the headings first. I look at from the first heading to the last heading. I have a rough idea of what the headings are talking about. Then I'll go to my paragraph. By looking at my paragraph now, I already know, oh, this paragraph is talking about this, and I saw this in heading I or II. Okay, so it's good for you to read the headings first before you go over to the paragraph. Okay, please watch out for synonyms. Watch out for synonyms, guys. I said it before, these people, they like synonyms a lot. They will paraphrase it and they will give it another word. So please watch out for synonyms. You have to build your vocabulary list. If you've not started building vocabulary list, you are missing it. Please build it. Build it and have varieties of words. Have words in different forms because they are gonna change it like that. If you have like difficult, words like advantage can be changed to benefit. So they can change words. They can change a phrase to be a word. Do not spend time in any question. If you are unable to find a heading for a paragraph, please do not dwell on it. Just leave it and go to the next one. Maybe you can looking at the next one, you should be able to have an idea of what the other one is. Okay? Do not dwell in each question. If you're finding it difficult to do this particular heading, please go to the other one because you still have other question types to tackle. You still have the other question types to solve. If you don't have a clue of what this paragraph is talking about, you have to leave it and go to the other one. Okay? If you are finding it difficult to find one, if a paragraph is confusing to you, just put a question mark there. You'll be able to come back and look at it again. If you don't put a question mark there, you may not know that you are not sure of this one. But when the question mark is there, then you should be able to know that you are not sure of the answers you picked here. Then I am presented with this question type. This is it. This is the question type. I'm presented with this question type. Okay, matching of headings. This is the passage. It's an actual IELTS reading passage. Okay, so what do I do first? The first thing I do is I go over the list of headings. Okay, I look at the headings first. Okay, I try to understand the headings first. Okay, if you look at this heading, you will notice that we have more headings than the paragraph. We just have like 3 paragraphs with 5 headings. That's a lot. Okay, that is to confuse you. So you should forget about that. There are more. Just do what you have to do. Okay, now I look at the headings. I'm not just looking at the headings. I'm trying to understand what each heading is talking about. Okay, so the first heading, they say the environmental impacts of modern farming. So I have a keyword. The keyword should be environment, impacts, modern farming. Okay, these are my keywords. Okay, now the effects of government policies in which countries. So they are talking about government policies, the effects of government policies in rich countries. These are my keywords. Okay? Now, government and management of the environment. I have another keyword. I have management and you have environment. Okay? Now, they ask the effects of government policies in poor countries. Now, we have poor countries, you have government. The other one is in rich countries. Now, this is poor country. Okay? Then farming and food output. So these are keywords. When you understand the keywords in each heading, you should be able to solve the headings. They should be able to solve this question type so difficult and effortlessly. Okay, so now I have 3 paragraphs. My section A, I go to my section A. I am not going there to read the whole passage, the whole paragraph. I'm just going to read the first and the second sentences and the second and the last 2 sentences. These are what I am going to read. If I don't understand it by just reading these few sentences, then I'll go ahead to read the whole paragraph. But I should be able to have a rough idea of what each paragraph is talking about by just reading the first 2 sentences and the last 2 sentences. Okay, so I'll read it with you. Okay, now section A says, the role of government in environmental management is difficult but inescapable. That alone should be able to tell you what my heading should look like, because they have a government, they have environment, they have management. Okay, I can remember that I had something like that in the headings. Okay, not to worry, let's continue to read so we understand it more. Sometimes the state tries to manage the resources it owns and does so badly. Okay, I go to the last 2 sentences. Growth and environmentalism can actually go hand in hand if politicians have the courage to confront the vested interest that subsidies create. They're talking about management, how to manage. That's what I'm talking about. Talking about how to manage environment. Okay, so now I should be able to know that I saw something like management, government, environment in the heading. Then I go over to the heading again and I check, where did I see that? It's in III. So the answer is III. It's so easy. So easy, guys. So easy. Okay. Then you do the next one. The same method. Section B says, no activity affects more of the Earth's surface than farming. Okay, now this should tell you that from this sentence, we're talking about how farming affects the Earth's surface. Okay, now it shapes a third of the planet's land area, not counting Antarctica, and proportion is rising. Okay, effects of farming on Earth's surface. Okay, that's what it's talking about. Then I read the last 2 sentences. Higher yields have been achieved by increased irrigation, better crop breeding, and a doubling in the use of pesticide and chemical fertilizers in the 1970s and 1980s. Okay, so this is it. They're still talking about effect of farming in Earth's surface. Okay, talking about effect of farming in Earth's surface, but you see, they're talking about yields. Higher yields have been achieved by increased irrigation, higher yields, better crop breeding, and a doubling in the use of pesticide. Okay? Now, this is why I said, if you read it and you think you're not really getting a clue of what the answer should be, just read on. Read on. They're talking about higher yields have been achieved. See? Now, if I don't read this clearly, I will think the answer should be environmental impacts in modern farming. That's not the answer. That is why I have to read it clearly, okay? Because they're not talking about the impacts. They're not talking about anything like modern farming here. They're just talking about yields. Yields. And if you look here, you see where they wrote what food output per head. So they're talking about yields. So now the answer should be farming and food output. That should be the answer. That's why you have to read it clearly. Read it and you understand. Read it clearly. Don't just the first sentence, yes, they're talking about farming and surface, then they're talking about, no, there's nothing like impact here. You read it clearly. Then the section C says, All these activities may have damaging environmental impacts. For example, impacts, environment. Can you see what I'm saying? For example, land clearing for agriculture is the largest single cause of deforestation. Chemical fertilizers and pesticides may contaminate water supplies. More intensive farming and the abandonment of fallow periods tend to exacerbate soil erosion. Okay, now I read the last two sentences. The country subsequently embarked upon a program to convert 11% of its cropped land to meadow or forest. Topsoil in India and China is vanishing more faster than America. So when you look at this, they're talking about how the environment, all these things are damaging environment. Okay, so they're talking, it's a negative impact. Okay, I'm talking about chemical fertilizer. These things are modern. Okay, so these things are modern. I talked about impact. So with impact, you should be able to have a clue of what the answer should be. Environmental impact of modern farming. That should be the answer. It's easy that way. When you do it this way, it is very easy. When you do it this way, it is very easy. Okay? So that is it, guys. That is it. It is always easier when you do it this way. Just follow this cue, these tips and tricks, and you'll be able to solve this question type so easy and to be very easier than others. Okay, so when you know this thing, when you understand the basics of it, to be less difficult for you guys. So the first tip you have to know is you have to read the headings first. Understand that there are more headings than the paragraph. Okay, try to do your paraphrase and look for your synonyms. As you're reading the headings, you are not taking note of the keywords and you're thinking of possible words that they can paraphrase these words with. Okay, then you should be able to put a question mark in unsure answers. If you're not sure that this answer should be this, please put a question mark there. It will help you to know that you've not completed this task. You have to come back to it. You have to come back to it. Okay, guys, thank you guys for watching my video. I just hope you understood everything. Please let me know how you feel about it in the comment box. Comment, like, and share my video. Thank you, guys. Bye.